Hey, Bryan Guzman here. Sit down with Sean. So, Sean, question about Biot. What is that? Explain it to me. I have no idea what this is.
Basically, Biots or Biots is basically what it describes as the effectiveness of your pore pressure system and how it distributes stress.
Okay.
And so generally, in most cases, a lot of people assume a Biot's value depending on the material. A lot of times you hear people assume Bio is a 1.
I actually have recent experience with that, talking with a client who
Depends on the material, but
right. Well, they had run like a quad combo, as like a petrophysical interpretation from a wireline company, and they had a column or a track is like Biot 1 the whole time. Yeah. Is that valid? Does that make?
Well, I'm biased to the rock, obviously, right, into measurements. And so basically what the Biots is going to give you, the Biots is going to give you, it's going to affect your effective stress calculations.
Okay.
The formula is essentially PC minus the alpha, which is Biot's constant times pore pressure.
All right.
That's going to affect your effective stress, and that could propagate up your modeling, up your assumptions later on.
Okay.
And so we have the capability in-house to measure Biots, conventional and unconventional. The difference being generally the time it takes to measure the unconventional.
What kind of time are we talking? I heard it's a pretty challenging test to run.
Not in the sense of equipment. It's just, it takes about a week to do one, a week and a half to get. Conventional I can do in a day or two, but.
So what's the difference, I guess, if it's so fast with conventional? Why is the unconventional measurement so much harder to take or acquire?
It has to do with the permeability and then like how well you can saturate your material. You have to, so part of the challenge is ensuring that we have the rock 100% saturated and that the pore stress has permeated throughout the sample entirely.
So walk me through what a setup would look like if you're just doing this then.
So if you're familiar with rock mechanics testing, it's going to be a standardized, you're going to have acoustic end caps on the top and bottom. You're going to have a sample plug, generally 1x2 or 1.5x3. You're going to have radial strain gauge transducers, LVDTs for axial displacement. And then we're going to use overburden, which is our piston. We're going to use horizontal or confining stress. And we're also going to have a pore system. So we're going to actually flow through this rock
while this is
happening.
Being smashed.
Yes. And then we can measure the input and output pressures, the flow rates. We can actually do stress-dependent permeability type tests as well. But that takes just a few days by itself on some rocks, even up to a week on some tight rock.
Right. Is this done to failure as well? Or
No, this is a non-destructive test. So
all right.
We'll never leave the linear elastic zone. And basically, the rates are super slow. So when we do any sort of ramp, confining pressure ramp, pore pressure ramp, we'll go at 0.01 psi per second.
Okay.
That's very, very slow. If you want to change 2,000 psi, what is that, 20,000 seconds right there? Mm-hmm. So that's the nature of the test. The slow and steady wins the race. And so we're able to measure your bulk compressibility, your grain compressibility, and then we can calculate alpha that way.
I'm smarter for having known that now.
So your Biots. And so why it's important is because whatever you assume your Biots is, your Biots is, that whatever it is will propagate through your modeling and your assumptions. And it can have a profound effect if you're wrong.
So basically, hey, if you're running a quad combo and you've taken some rotaries or some core, it would, depending on the certain situation, I guess, or geologic context, this is an important measurement that can be taken, and you can actually train and improve your petrophysical analysis even better if you actually know what that number is. If it truly is 1 the whole way down, which I don't think it ever is, right?
If it's super soft rock, maybe, but
but it might be like 0.5 or 0.6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Right. That helps me understand. I actually understand a little bit more about that.